look at the runners. Carrying the #1 saddlecloth Hay. He won the race last year. He also won the Metropolitan for the past 2 years. Hay will be ridden by Ron Quinton, and here's what Sydney's Premier Jockey thinks about Hay's chances in the Caulfield Cup.
Ron Hay going for his second consecutive Caulfield Cup. Do you think the weight's going to be any problem to him?
Well, that's about the thing that would really worry you about it, really. Certainly the horse appears to be going as well this year as ever, but he's sort of naturally up in weight, and that's what worries me a bit, the 58.5, but I'm sure he'll run very, very well.
The firm track's not going to worry him, of course, after his win here on the heavy last year, but he likes the firm going as well?
Oh, he races pretty well on all sorts of grounds, but he does like to sting out of the ground a little bit because he's, you know, did have a bit of feet trouble last year, but I don't think it'll worry him.
#2 is Fountain Course. This New Zealand stayer started favourite in the Caulfield Cup last year. Today he has barrier 17, the rider from Sydney, John Marshall. Roy Higgins, the prospects of Fountain Court?
Well, Keith, he's probably been a little bit disappointing here, his last couple of runs. General sensitive opinion is that this horse is possibly a little bit better with a sting out of the ground, but he's a good campaigner, this chap. He's got a lot of class. Johnny Marshall, he's Bart Cummings' #1 rider in Sydney. He's a fine horseman. And, well, there are a few people here today that give this horse a very good chance in the race.
Bart Cummings has won the Caulfield Cup a record 5 times. He's well represented again today, too. One of his top chances is #3 Prolific, to be ridden by Darren Gauchi. Well, is Darren Gauchi happy to be riding Prolific?
Well, Darren, a big day for you. Prolific in the Caulfield Cup. Are you happy with the mount?
Yes, I am happy to ride Prolific. The other day he may have needed the run, and I should think he improved today and should be in the finish.
His form leading up to the Caulfield Cup, were you satisfied with it?
Yes, well, you know, his form's been pretty good. He won the Craigley Stakes, so impressive. In the Underwood he was very unlucky, and last Saturday he ran second Alibi, which I do think he was short of a run.
Darren Gauchi thinks Prolific can win. Roy Higgins, the professor, has tipped Prolific too.
Yes, I like him, Keith. Just having a good look at him in the mounting yard here. When he ran second here to Alibi last week, I was standing in the same position. When he came back after the race, he was blowing quite a good deal. I think this run, that run has sort of trimmed him right up. He looks an absolute picture in the mounting yard. Bart Cummings has set him for this race, and there's no better genius in the world than that man at setting a horse for one particular race. It'll be the first apprentice since Johnny Stocker if he is to win this race, young Darren. It'll be good to see.
#4 is El Dwayne. El Dwayne is my selection in the Caulfield Cup. He is trained by 22-year-old Toby Ortridge from New Zealand. I'm glad El Dwayne is running and not Toby Ortridge, because only a few moments ago he told me he was an absolute pack of nerves.
I think it gets to a lot of people, the excitement of a big race like this. It's great to be part of it. But this horse is guts personified. He's run at Flemington in the Turnbull Stakes, where he clearly outstayed Alibi. Then a very good run here under difficult circumstances in the Herbert Power, where he was forced to cross from a wide barrier, had to work hard all the way, but would not throw the sponge in, fought it right out to the finish. He'll be in this for a long way.
5. One of the top chances in the Caulfield Cup. His tote odds at present are 5-1. #7, Hussar's Command, winner of the 4X Cup in Brisbane this year. Hussar's Command is a 28-1 chance on the tote. Roy Higgins?
Yes, he's a tough horse, this fellow, Keith. Wasn't a bad run here in the Herbert Power. His first start here since coming over from Sydney. Was a good 5th, was finishing his race off nicely, and the connections were of the opinion that that run would help bring him to his top for this race, and he certainly looks that way in the mounting yard.
2 years ago, the Cup was won by the Jeff Murphy-trained Gurners Lane. Today, Jeff is represented by #8, Admiral Lincoln, a 60-1 chance to be ridden by Gary Willits.
Well, Keith, you know, this really was Jeff's last hope, and really it's hard to see him improving enough to be given a chance in a race like this.
9, Affinity, Pat Hyland's mount, one of the top hopes in the Melbourne Cup, and of course he has a big chance in this race too. Here's Pat Hyland for his thoughts on Affinity's chances.
Pat Affinity's run in the Herbert Power last week, a very good pointer to a good showing in the Cup today.
Yes, it was an excellent run, Peter. He ran very well. He drew badly and covered a good deal of ground, much more than I would have preferred, but it was a good hit out for the Cup. Whether this sort of a race, you know, is run to suit him, we need a lot of speed on in the race to help Affinity in a race like this, otherwise he'll get left behind in the sprint home. But I was very impressed with his run in the Herbert Power, and really from a, you know, from a Melbourne Cup point of view, it was an excellent run. I'm just hoping that they'll put a bit of speed on today and let us pick up a bonus on the way through.
Right, there's Affinity on screen, Pat Harlan's mount. Number 10 is Evid, showing odds of 76-1 on the tote at present. Evid is being ridden by Mick Malyon, who with 3 wins has had more success in this race than any rider in today's event.
Yes, well, this fellow, Keith, he's drawn barrier 9, or he jumps from the outside barrier. You'll see him coming down the straight the first time. Don't be surprised if Mick Malyon aims towards the lead and is sitting up in front, either first or second. And he's a horse that can keep rolling, and Mick's a great judge when he's up near the lead.
Comments then from Roy Higgins. The big welcome now to New Zealand viewers, and we hope that you enjoy this telecast of the 1984 Caulfield Cup. An apt time to welcome you too, because we're discussing now the chances of number 11 Beaver Boy, a New Zealander who flashed home for a 4th in the Herbert Power Handicap at Caulfield.
Oh, that was a real eye-catching run with this fellow, Keith. He probably arrived here in Australia a little bit unheralded, and not a lot of people knew much about him. He really caught the eye here last Saturday, flashing home, beautifully drawn in barrier 1, 52 kilos on his back. Philip Smith, ex-New Zealand, now residing in Sydney, a top horseman, and I'm sure with the weight it will give a great sight.
Beaver Boy is an 18-1 chance on the tote. Number 12, Kabobany, the 3rd of the Bart Cummings trio. He's the least fancied at odds of 55-1.
This fellow's a bit of a hard puller, Keith, and from barrier 3, Mitch Dinham to ride. I wouldn't be surprised to see him up in front with Abbott or leading.
13, Mapley Heights, New Zealand bred. She started her racing career in New Zealand too. She's by the great stallion Sir Tristram. Today her tote odds are 46-1.
Seems to be lacking a little bit of zip in her races, Keith. Whether or not she's looking for more ground, but she's a hardy customer, and possibly the hustle and bustle of the Caulfield Cup could be against her, but she does have class.
14, King Delamere by the great New Zealand racehorse Balmerino. King Delamere is being ridden by the veteran of the field, former New Zealander Bobby Skelton.
And wouldn't it be great to see Bob add this cup to the many hundreds of cups that he's won? He'll have this horse possibly in the first 6 or 7 all the way. The horse is fit, he's been racing terrific, and he'll certainly be in the finish.
The New Zealand influence on this race is very strong. Bruce Compton, who is riding Fox Seal, is a former New Zealander, and Fox Seal is New Zealand bred.
Yes, quite an impressive last start winner of the Canberra Cup. Possibly gets a little bit too far back in his races, possibly better suited at Flemington.
We'll take a look at the remaining 3 runners in the Caulfield Cup after this commercial break.